So today we will be reviewing
The Aztecs.
Originally broadcast on the 23rd of May 1964, The Aztecs is a 4-episode long story. Basic summary. The TARDIS lands and the crew, particularly Barbara, become worshipped as gods by the Aztecs. But when Barbara prevents a sacrifice, the Aztecs begin to get suspicious of whether they are actually gods, and then that leads into a whole kind of trying to trick them to survive kind of ordeal, which effectively works, kind of, but Barbara wants to change history so that the Aztecs, get rid of all their bad side of the culture and everything. But she fails, because if she succeeded, that would rewrite history, which the Doctor doesn't like. Long story short, they escape the Aztecs, but just barely, because, Susan was going to be punished at the eclipse because she defied their laws of marriage. Things I liked. Now, the first one is exclusive to the DVD, which is right there. And at the start, when you press the play all option to play all the episodes, it comes up with a little message thing, which is narrated by one of the cast, telling you to be careful when you watch it for some reason, because it will go against the will of the gods for some reason. It changes every time you play it, so you might get a different one. I think the costumes of this one, more than any other one, have been particularly good, because the entire episode was, in costume. Even the main characters were in costume, except the Doctor, who has his usual costume, I guess. The props were good as well, because the Aztecs didn't have swords, I don't think, so they had wooden clubs, which proved just as effective, really. Just a little less deadly. The sets were good as well, they're better than this one anyway. There's one point where the Doctor goes mad scientist. That's really funny. I should probably have mentioned this before, but Ian and another Aztec go into battle for control of the Aztecian army. That fight is pretty cool, but Ian loses it. But he doesn't die. No. I think the script worked really well for this one. There wasn't a major end of the world plot. It was just basically trying to survive in the Aztec world, which is a change from the usual, because it's either they're trying to stop the world being destroyed, or they're going to be killed. But this time, they're in charge of everything for a brief time, so the Doctor accidentally getting engaged. That was awesome. I laughed at that. To go hand in hand with the engagement thing, there's one point where the Doctor tells, I think it's Barbara, that he's engaged. But, the way he says it is absolutely brilliant. Here, I've got the actual quote here because it was so funny. The way he said it. I'll probably screw up and make it fail. Yes, I made some cocoa and got engaged. At the end of episode 4, Ian and the Aztec have another battle, but this time it's a lot more dangerous, because it's to the death this time, as the TARDIS crew make their escape. This episode, more than any other episode I think so far, has had the best supporting cast, because you can really tell that all the characters throw everything into the performance, especially the villains of the episode, because they're just great. They actually support most of the episode. It's a shame I can't count them in the best performance. Things I disliked. Surprisingly, there's only one thing that I didn't like in this episode, and that's not even a very big thing, really. Near the start of episode 1, there's one point where Susan is talking, and they cut her off, mid-sentence in the editing. I didn't think that was very good. And that's the only problem I've got with the episode. Best balls. Best performance. Out of the 4 episodes, I think Ian, Barbara and the Doctor worked really well in the episode. But I think overall, the Doctor won the best performance for this episode. William Hartnell, you've done it again. Personal rating. This is my opinion of the episode, no one else's, as you already know. But I would give this episode a 8 or a 9 out of 10. Because I really can't find much wrong with it. It's a good episode, good script, good actors, good characters, good story. And just one of those episodes, really. So that was my review of The Aztecs. Probably my shortest review yet, but still, it's a good episode. One of the best so far, actually. Which is weird because I watched it before when I was younger and I didn't like it at all. I will try and borrow the Censorites DVD from Michael because, well, I bought it for him for Christmas and he still hasn't watched it. So I will do a review on the Censorites and then he can decide if he wants to watch it or not. That's the point of the review, Michael. So you can watch episodes you like.